you know. Hey, man.
Hey, how are you?
I didn't expect you.
Don't salute, don't salute.
I'm glad to see you're up and about.
Me too.
It seems like the worst is your left hand.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, you're over here, Adam. I put you at the very end because I didn't think you were going to be here.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
And honestly, I didn't want to bother you because with everything going on, I'm like, the last thing he's going to want is a text from me or something.
All right.
I went by this place. This was not brick originally. It was wood, just like most of the other ones are down there. First floor is a wood facade. You can see the original back behind that. Some of the broken glass.
Well, we have a quorum, so it's up to you whether or not you want to wait for to see if the other two or we move forward. But we have a quorum.
I think we start.
That would be my suggestion.
When called to order, Monday, June 7th, 2021, Historic Preservation Commission regular meeting. You want to call the roll? Oh, and here's Patrick.
Okay, good. Joe Chappell?
Here.
Valerie Duncan?
Here.
Adam Ropp?
Here.
Patrick Kerr?
Coming.
And Daryl Covington, no. And Lynn Bilodeau.
Here.
We have a quorum.
And I'm assuming we have no public comments
That is correct.
other than, okay. Everybody had a chance to read the minutes from our April 5th meeting. We did not have a meeting in May because we did not have a quorum. And everybody had a chance to read those, and do I have a motion?
I'll move that we approve the minutes.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a
Perfect.
motion and a second?
Valerie Duncan?
Yes.
Adam Ropp?
Yes.
Patrick Kerr?
Yes.
Lynn Bilodeau.
Yes.
And Joe wasn't here, that's why I didn't ask him.
Item 4 is HPC application 21-008, discussion and potential action on a request for a certificate of appropriateness for the reconstruction of the lower front facade to include new brick, windows, doors, and a canopy for a building located at 208 West Oklahoma Avenue. Do we have a staff report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. You may remember this item was from our April 5th, 2021 HPC meeting. At the time, the applicant was not here, so the commission had tabled the item in hopes that the applicant would be here in order to have discussions with the applicant. The applicants are here this time. We did not have a meeting in May, so that's why it's not coming back till June. To recap what's happening or transpiring with the building, it's right up the street here on Oklahoma. It's the Ring Rose building. As all of you know, they had taken off some of the glass exterior material to analyze to see what was going on with the particular building. And at this point, they have a proposal to basically redo the front facade. It would put two large 5x7 storefront windows, a small door on the western side of the building to have access to the second floor, and then a double door between the two windows to have access to the bottom retail. They're also looking to put a canopy on top, and then the exterior would be a brick facade. The proposal that currently is here is that brick would be black. And I'm assuming it would take on, because right now with the underlying adhesive, I guess it is, or whatever, there's black, so it might be that they're just looking to paint that black. But I just want to add that the storefront design is actually what our design standards looks for in terms of the storefronts and the kind of the Victorian building design. In fact, there's a picture in our design standards that more or less says this is what we should have. So with that, I give it back to the commission for their consideration. And again, the applicants are here for any and all questions you may have of them.
Yeah, either or both of you want to step forward to the mic? Not really? Okay. Okay. Do you have anything to add to what you've written out in the app? First of all, state your name.
My name's Clay Condry.
Clay Condry?
Yes, sir.
And I'm Max Tempesta.
Max Tempesta. Thank you guys for coming.
Good.
And do you have anything to add to your written application or the report that Mr. Kasich just read?
I think the only kind of non-finite thing that we've looked at so far is maybe the color. I mean, we're not necessarily stuck to any one thing, but we do believe that the pink should probably be brought up to some more appealing standard, maybe brick even, just a brick color to kind of blend in with the storefront next door. We want to make it look better. I mean, we want to make it look better for you guys. We want to make it look better for us. So.
I understand. I actually went by there and also looked at some historical photos. I am 99% certain that behind this glass facade that's on there right now, originally that was all wooden downstairs. I don't think it was brick, just like the building just to the west of you guys has the wooden structure on the lower level, and I'm 99% certain that's what this one was. And I just tell you, black brick gives me great pause because it's so permanent. And I know there's at least one member on the commission that wants the glass restored. And I don't know where we're gonna go with that discussion, but I just tell
Glass
you.
meaning the pink glass?
The
Like the glass tiles?
yeah, is it Carrera? The
Yeah.
Carrera glass tiles that are up there right now. And I
Right.
know they're not manufactured anymore, but,
Right.
and I know that would create some difficulty for you.
We want it to look a lot like the law firm or the office that's next door.
Okay.
Aesthetically, I mean, we think that is a nice looking building, and it worked for kind of downtown. It also worked for the owner of the building.
Well, and Joe Chappell and I mean, we've looked at a lot of pictures from other cities where they have some Victorian buildings. And black with the blonde brick is really a good look. I just don't know about black brick and blonde brick.
We're thinking about maybe just red brick, just like the one next door.
Okay. Well, I think that the columns on the very edge, Aaron, can you get a picture up, the first picture in this application? There it is. There was a column right next to that red brick column that was part of your building on the west side. See where it has on the door MR? And then there's a red brick column that's also part of the building next door. Your brick column has been glassed over, but other than the brick column on each edge out there that's just about a brick and a half width, the rest of that I'm 99% certain was all wood. And as far as whether we vote to say you need to keep the Carrera glass up there or you need to do something different, like I said, black brick gives me great pause. I don't have the same problem that our other member has with doing away with the glass because it doesn't look very Victorian. I mean,
Right.
You drive into Guthrie, it says, "Welcome to Guthrie, a Victorian city." And I understand there is some historical significance there, and it's been there for probably 75 years. And because of that, there's some historical significance to it. I guess my first question is, would you guys be willing to revise your application to do wooden lower facade, very similar to what's in the building next to you there?
So in the one we can see here,
Yeah,
like a slat style siding, like this yellow on the right side of the screen, or?
oh, no, on the left side of the screen.
Wall.
The law
Oh, I
office is
see,
right
I
there.
see.
One
See?
like, I mean, I think that'd probably be all right.
Because you can do that, and you might even be able to get away with black. I mean,
I don't think we're stuck on black.
I would like dark green. I like the dark greens. There's a lot of dark green in Guthrie, and I think there's always been a lot of dark green.
We're definitely not stuck on the black. So I see the trim pieces in between the windows is what you're referring to as far as the wood?
Yes.
Just so I'm perfectly understanding.
Yeah, I think we could do that. And we want it to be functional, and we want it to be practical. And I don't know if finding glass that's
Well,
not maybe
most
practical.
of the buildings that I looked at that had black, and I actually shared, I think, some pictures.
Yeah, we had a couple of them.
A couple of them were up there. None of them, like, there you go.
That's
None of
wood.
them were black brick, but it was wood and they were painted, black.
Boken painted their whole wall black on the north side, the red brick wall, they painted that whole wall black.
Yeah, I just saw that the other day.
I mean, I'm assuming you guys approved
I got
that.
no problem.
It was, way back it was. I looked it up.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think the black brick looks great, just like those.
Yeah.
I think the black looks
Like what?
good.
Look, that's not brick
That's
though.
another building.
Well, I understand, but I'm saying Boken is brick, and they
Right.
painted that
I
black.
understand.
It looks great.
That's concrete block that they painted. The north side of that building is concrete block. Because I personally painted it myself about 25, 30 years ago.
Well, yeah, I think our biggest concern is really related to the tile itself, because that kind of goes the opposite direction of where we're trying to take the building. As far as the color goes, and maybe the material, if we're gonna do more glass and then wood accent pieces versus brick, I think we're open to that. So, I mean, we definitely understand your guys'
I
concern.
think if you do wood, there's less possibility that you're doing something that doesn't look like it goes,
Wait, I'm sorry, what you said?
Well, if you went all wood on that bottom floor, it would look more territorial because there's not a lot of bricks on the bottom of structures in downtown.
Gotcha.
But how does that coincide with what we just allowed at Prairie Wolf? They did more brick around their doors and painted it all red brick.
That's true.
It looks great.
It's true.
I think the
That's
hardest
just
part
my
is,
preference.
What?
Well, I understand your
And
preference,
I wasn't
but
at that meeting.
Right.
I also think that
Yeah, I get it.
stifling ideas if
I
you.
totally get it.
We want to keep it functional as well. So, we're an architect, we work with Oklahoma City. We asked her about the project, she came up here and looked at it. She put something together for us. We liked it, it was functional.
Right.
We think it's gonna be cost effective. We don't necessarily want to chase a bunch of rabbits, so we don't have
Right,
to.
right,
If we can
right.
get something that fits, checks the boxes for you guys, we'll do it without ruffling any feathers.
Well, I think the only reason I suggested wood isn't that I have anything against brick, it's that the building was wood down there originally, and I'd like to see it close to restored to what it was, if that's what we're looking to do, change the facade.
Yeah, fair enough. So maybe we could get some notes from you guys, take to the architects, when we come back, we can have something that we can approve. That be all right?
Well, let's see if any other commissioners have questions for you here.
I like this.
You like that?
Yeah, I do.
Yes?
Yeah,
With black brick?
I got no
I
problem.
I have no problem with either black,
I got
black
no
or red.
problem.
And, I mean, the black would be a good contrast to the blonde brick that's on top.
I haven't waited 3 months.
Yes, they have.
So the blonde brick would stay the same? Or you're saying you'd paint the blonde brick?
No, the blonde brick.
Yeah, the upper level would stay as is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my only problem with the black brick is, like I said, it's so permanent, and I can't think of another place downtown that has black brick.
All the more reason to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I will say from the staff standpoint, and I've said this before, with a lot of the architectural, if you want to say details or elements, when you paint them all the same color, you kind of lose that pop, if you want to say. And I don't inherently have a problem with the brick being black, but then I think that we should have the window trim and maybe even the canopy a different color. So again, that front facade kind of pops a little bit more, and it's like, ooh, that looks nice, and you can see some of the design details rather than just make it all one color and it kind of all blends together. But again, that's just my thoughts.
I think.
Kind of like next door, because next door, they did it kind of in gray and black. And, it makes the building look nice because some of the details are darker and then the main building's lighter. And again, that could flip-flop either way, but it just helps to accentuate some of the details of a building.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has any issues with it being black.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
So I don't think anyone has any issues with it being black, just not hot pink.
We're on the same page.
All right, yeah, that's right.
Well, there's no secret who the dissenting voice on this commission is. And my job on this commission is to take into account the historic preservation viewpoint. The Carrera glass is, it's a really specific Art Deco feature. The glass isn't, or the tile isn't available, it is not manufactured in the United States today, but it's still available here. And, as a historic preservationist, I have to say, I think it's a real shame and a real loss to the city if that facade disappears.
Valerie, have you had a chance to go by there and look?
Yes, I have.
Have you looked behind that?
No.
There's a lot of rotten wood and infestation there, so I don't see any way they can structurally save the building without pulling that down, and I don't think they're gonna be able to pull it down without
Well,
breaking
and
all
my
that.
point is, though, that Carrera glass tile is still available to be purchased in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, I greatly respect your opinion.
Thank you.
And I certainly
I do.
understand your opinion too. But the way I like Art Deco, but part of the way I look at this, in my perspective, they made a mistake in 1930, and we don't need to repeat it.
28.
28, okay, well, that's close, that's 2 years ago. But they put an Art Deco building in a Victorian town, and
We've got others on Oklahoma.
and we've got the Prairie Road.
But I think too, the part of this historical commission is the preserving, I was told once before, it's actually preserving an error, and this Art Deco is not that error that we're in charge of preserving. I tried to make that same argument when they tore down Guthrie Savings and Loan Bank, because that was a very Frank Lloyd Wright style building that we had from the 60s. And it said it had no historical significance to the city of Guthrie, so away we went.
Anyway, that's just.
So I think that what we're trying to preserve is actual, the turn of the century, not Art Deco.
Soldier course.
Oh, okay.
I think what they present, I think they,
I'll make a motion to approve.
As submitted?
Pardon me?
As submitted? Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
Now, I do have a question, so, because as this advances and we do our awning and things, if there is a color adjustment on the awning and maybe the frames of the windows, do we need to come back and apply? It's gonna be the same general theme, but I think just as things go, there may be minor adjustments, as you were suggesting, to have some contrast, or, we don't want it to be just black all the way. Does that make sense?
But look at those.
I don't mean to confuse
look at those-
things.
No, no,
but
right,
make sure
but-
I know the process as we,
No, but yes, as it would be approved now, would be as submitted, which basically everything's black. So if you're going to change the color, you would still need to come back to get the color approved, not necessarily the design per se, because that's being approved, but the color would be.
Definitely get started.
And Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but can you administratively approve colors
Not by the current code,
Really?
yeah.
We can get started though, and then if you guys want to do.
If you
window trim
guys give
colors
me
that are
some
different,
leeway
then
in the motion to say that you're looking for, acceptable contrasting colors and that, then yes, I could probably do that.
I have a question. What colors are your window molds planning to be?
right, the way we've submitted it was just as black.
You want me to black?
Yeah,
Because
but,
Lynn was sitting, we were just talking, I think
Yeah.
Lynn was thinking, if your window mullions were to kind of match the brick above,
The beige.
that might make for a
I wish
nice
you'd bring
look.
those pictures of the black back up. I think it's a cool look. I think it would be,
And I'm fine with that. I was just letting them know that if they technically want to change the color, if it's approved as submitted, they would have to come back for the color. The design obviously would be approved, but the color would need to be reapproved.
And as they have written, the glass frame, insulated frames would be black, and even the upstairs windows would be black, so that would really tie those two in together if the window frames downstairs and
I just
upstairs were
think
black.
it's a classy look.
It would be. I think what you guys have designed is phenomenal.
This gal that helped us, I don't know if her name's Elisa Weatherman, she does a lot of the houses for themselves for a lot of the people that do kind of more modern stuff.
It's very classy, I think.
Yeah.
She's pretty good.
But just to go back, we had a motion, but we're waiting for a second.
I'll say it is.
Do I have a second on the motion?
A second.
Okay. Now, is there any other further discussion?
Just to make sure, just to clarify, the windows are gonna be made of wood and everything, right?
Is that,
On the first level?
oh, you're talking about the additions that we discussed?
Yeah.
I mean, I think if it says as presented, it would be whatever we have down.
You say new glass and wood door.
So as,
Yeah, wood doors. It doesn't say.
Because there's a
window
stone,
Black frame.
yeah.
It doesn't say if it's wood frame or
Yeah.
metal frame, but it would
Well,
need
actually,
to
it does. It says 5 foot by 7 foot insulated windows, black frame.
Okay.
It does say black frame.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it doesn't say if it's gonna be
Well, I don't
wood.
know what it's made of.
Right.
Insulated
be.
windows,
Downstairs
black
has to
frame,
be wood frame.
Yeah.
Glass
Yeah,
and wood
that's fine.
doors.
It needs to be
Okay.
wood frame.
so if you want to write that on there, wood frame as,
Yeah, I got it down.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'll just have that in the letter. Your approval.
Just making sure, the devil's in the details.
sure.
Yeah, because it clearly said the doors were wood. You ready for a roll call?
Yep.
Okay. Adam Ropp,
Yes.
Patrick Kerr,
Yes.
Valerie Duncan,
No,
Joe Chappell,
Yes.
Lynn Bilodeau.
Yes.
All right, passes 4-1.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Do you guys have a time frame?
We've got actually, I think next week, they're doing the
Did you talk to the mic?
remediation.
Did you talk?
Yeah, if you could come up to the mic, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, answer that.
We've got a remediation company coming in to take the asbestos out of the ground floor and then the entire building. And after that's over, then we'll restart.
Thank you.
You bet.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Application 21-009, discussion and potential action on a request for a certificate of appropriateness for the replacement of 6 second-story windows and a street-level window on the south facade, the alley, of a building located 109 and 111 to 111 South Division Street. Staff report?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just as you indicated, this is the building on Division right across, basically from the diner. Right there, it's at the corner of the alley in Division. On the south side of the building is where they're replacing the windows. They have the upper windows and one window down below, and they're looking to replace those windows. I provided you a great deal of information regarding the replacement of existing historic windows and what should be done. The applicant's not here, but they're looking to put in basically a standard run-of-the-mill vinyl window on all of them. So with that, I'll leave it back to the commission if you have any questions.
And the standards don't differentiate between the street and alley.
The only thing that comes into play is if you, again, read all of the wonderful information I gave you.
Oh, I did.
It did say that on secondary elevations, basically not the street elevations, there can be some wiggle room, if you want to say, in terms of the windows. If it were street facing, it pretty much says no, period. But I would argue that I don't know if it's a precedent we want to set to start seeing a bunch of and for lack of better, cheap vinyl windows being replaced.
Yeah. Got to tell you, I'm not a fan of the vinyl window.
Yeah.
I think, so you're stating that on street front, no vinyl windows on front facade upstairs?
By the rehabilitation guidelines and standards, no. They should all be to the original material that was there. Obviously, the first step is
I
to.
don't think you're correct on that. The reason why I say that is the Oklahoma building, secondary, with the eyebrow windows, all the windows are all put in, are all vinyl windows. On my building, when I applied the upstairs windows, front facade, also eyebrow windows, they're all vinyl. I think the wood only states ground level. I know that's what we've done in the past.
We have training next week.
Okay. I thought that was, I thought it was the street level had to be wood, and then anything above that was vinyl.
That's what he just said.
That's what we've done in the past for at least a decade.
And if we're going to follow that same guideline, would that at least negate a vinyl window for the one lower window they're talking about?
Yeah, you could do that. Like I said, there is in the guidelines, you know, and I guess you would call that a secondary elevation, I guess, I don't know, even on the street side, the upper being a secondary elevation that, you know, substitute materials may be considered as long as the design is the same.
Well, it would be nice if the applicant was here.
Yeah, he was told more than once. He didn't show up at the last item he had either.
Are these what they?
Yeah, those 6.
I believe he was,
Eyebrow windows, is that what you're talking about?
No, this actually doesn't even have eyebrow windows.
No.
It's the-
What is that little arch at the top?
It's a wooden arch.
it's a wooden arch, yeah.
So it was never glass?
Never.
No, right, yeah, it's just a, yeah, architectural detail, I guess.
Is this something we would want to table until the applicant can be here?
Unless you have something you want to change from the application, I don't know. I mean, honestly, trying to get him to show up may be hard. He's a out-of-town building owner that doesn't seem to care to have time to come here.
My question is, why would we table it? It's
Yeah, that's why I said if you're happy with it, I would go with it.
He wants to replace them.
Yeah. I mean, if you have questions or want him to change something, then you might want him to be here. Or you can just deny it because he wasn't here.
I said, I think it's pretty cut and dry. He just wants to replace 6 windows. I mean, we're not talking about a color change or anything. We're just, can he replace his windows?
Well, at least they're not going to be white vinyl, the cream that is indicated on the last page.
Yeah, he had indicated it's going to be a cream color, so it's not going to be a bright white. It's going to be more of a cream or an off-white.
It's all from the street front.
No.
Right, as indicated, it's on the alley.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
All right, Valerie Duncan,
Yes.
Adam Robb,
Yes.
Patrick Kerr,
Yes.
Joe Chappell,
Yes.
and Lynn Bilodeau.
Yes. Item 6, HPC application 21010, discussion, potential action for a request for a certificate of appropriateness for the new R3 services sign on the front facade of a building located at 114 West Harrison Avenue. Report?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This one's pretty straightforward. They're requesting basically a 2.81 square foot sign, about a little over 1 foot by 2.5 foot on the building. The building already had existing areas that, for the signage, as you saw in the picture, and they're just taking one of the areas. The only thing I wanted to add is one of the things, too, that is going to become troublesome with outdated design standards is our design standards were never meant, or multi-tenant buildings were not considered when these design standards were done. So as we get more probably activity and even have buildings that have multi-tenants, it's going to be difficult to approve signage because we don't have the guidelines to do it. So in this case, it's kind of already been there in that, and so I don't think there's any issue, but it's just another thing to consider. One of the other things that came up that I thought about was shorts with the bicycle shop. Now, that's great, but technically the bike shop can't have any signage, and I don't think that's fair. But anyway, that's for discussion as we go on.
So on this one, they're just wanting to replace the blue and
Yep,
white
just the one
sign.
area that used to be.
That sign with a sign the identical
Yep,
sign.
same size and identical to what was there, the whole kind of shape and all of that in that. Because as you can see, Aaron did kind of a sketch up. That's what it'll look like on the building, same size.
So it's gonna look like a ransom note?
That part, no.
With all the cut and paste?
Right, that part, no.
Yeah.
The gentleman that came in, we had a pretty good laugh about that, so, yeah. It'll look more like that with his stuff on it,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay.
I thought that was a second, sorry, I wasn't,
Oh,
Roll call?
I forgot you can't do it, you just gone.
all right, Valerie Duncan,
Yes.
Adam Ropp,
Yes.
Patrick Kerr,
Yes.
Joe Chappell, Lynn Bilodeau.
Yes.
Okay.
Any staff comments?
Yeah, I just want to remind the commission, next Wednesday, the 16th, correct? I think it's 16th. Next Wednesday, we have our special meeting workshop in which the State Historic Preservation Office, Sarah, will be here to provide training. It was also a requirement of our 3-year review that training be provided to the commission as well as staff, so that will be taking place. It will be the only thing on the item in that. Most of you had indicated to me you're going to be here, so that'll be good. But if any other public wants to come and sit in, it is obviously a public meeting, so they can come in and sit and get some training on, and it'll be on the gosh, now I can't even think of the rehabilitation guideline standards that set forth by the National Park Service, the Secretary of Interiors. So, but that's all I have.
Any commissioner comments?
I have a question.
Okay.
Did the Auto Max move? You know, the one where we approved the wall to be painted?
Uh-huh.
I noticed the cars aren't there anymore.
Yes, they have moved it to their lot to the south.
Okay.
Yeah, at this point, I'm not sure what their intentions are with the lot. But most of their vehicles have been moved to the south.
One more question. What's the building going up further down to the Vision, that 2-story building? Is that an office building or?
T-Mobile.
Oh, yeah, it's a 1-story, yeah, it's T-Mobile. But it's just a 1-story, it's just a taller building. But that's the new T-Mobile building. And thanks to our updated design guidelines for our corridor, it's going to be an all-brick, red brick building.
Oh, cool. Any ex officio comments? No one does yet.